Welcome to Washington Football Week with your host, one half of that dynamic duo, Sean Spencer, and South Carolina's finest, Will Craven.
Don't play us if you're undefeated.
Where we celebrate past success while looking to a bright future. There's a youth movement in Washington, and they're ready to take the reins, led by firefighters.
Play aggressive.
It's a new day, new dawn, no longer the laughing stock. It's time to take them. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. And you know what day it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's Wednesday. Happy Hump Day! I'm here with my guy, South Carolina's finest, where it's even a little chilly willy out there. Will Kramer. What up, Will?
Sean, it is Wednesday, January 15th, and we are still talking about Washington playing football. What?
That's right. We are here. We beat Tampa Bay by the skin of our teeth. Wait, hold up. Let me fix my hair real quick.
Yeah.
Let me adjust it. Let me fix my hair. Adjust it.
Do it again. Pull the hat.
Yeah, right.
Pull the helmet off.
Put it on half leg. Fix it. Shout out to Zay Gonzalez getting it done, sneaking that ball in between the uprights. We get the W, getting the win, 23-20. But to your point, Will, it's a little chilly outside. It's a little burr out there, but it doesn't matter because I feel all warm inside, Will. I feel like a winner. Let's go.
I know. It's crazy, man. Crazy. We haven't won since 2006. You know, and it's always in Tampa. It's always Tampa, it seems like.
I think we should have thought something about that with the whole Tampa situation. Like, it's either good things like this time or, you know, the Sean Taylor, the Dion and all that, or it's bad. Other times that we lost to Tampa, like the Matt Turk and that misplay, and then obviously Tom Brady in 2020. So we got some decent luck in that situation. But I'm definitely excited. But look, ladies and gentlemen, Washington Football Weekly, we're here Wednesday night. Definitely got to recap that game. But whenever we're on here, and especially this year, now that we are in the playoffs and we're not one and done like a certain other team that we know, Cowboys. Sinead, what's up?
Hey.
We're still playing. And whenever we get this, it's very rare that we get this kind of excitement. It's very rare that we're in this. It's been a while, like Will said. But whenever we do, we got to bring in those guys that were with us when we were down in the depths. The guys that may or may not have wished us to fall so that we could get a Jaden Daniels and have the year that we had. Friend of our show and our guy, Jack Niederman. What up, Jack?
What's going on, fellas?
Nice.
W, baby.
Yeah, I'm not used to this, guys. I'm not.
No.
In all honesty, I've been looking at mock drafts because I'm just so like plugged into just to having. I'm like, hey, I wonder what the mock draft would be this time. And then I'm like, wait, we're not picking until the 20s, maybe in the 30s. See,
Right.
You just don't know. So yeah, but I'm just not used to this moment. I think how old were we when they won the Super Bowl? 9?
90. Yeah. Yes, we were 9.
I was 9. Yeah, 92. Yeah, and I barely remember them winning that last playoff game against the Bucs back in 2004, and that's it. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was really important we brought you on because the two of you guys were the ones that for many, many Sunday mornings we would be sitting shotgun in my car, and it'd be early Sunday morning after Saturday night festivities. So we were pretty groggy the next morning, and we would start off the day by hearing Papa Roach as loud as my speakers could play it.
Last resort.
To get hyped up to go to FedEx Field.
Yeah.
And what would happen? We would often go see losses. So the fact that our team is still playing, this is a huge moment for us.
Come on now.
Oh, big time. Big time. I remember one of the last home games I went to, it was against the Chiefs. And it started snowing like through halftime. Mm-hmm. And I think we were down by, I think it was like 34 something terrible. And then we kicked the kickoff from halftime, and the Chiefs ran it back, and I made Melissa leave. I made us just go home. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm not sitting in traffic anymore. We're just
that was a miserable game. Yes, yeah. I do remember. And you called from saying, I'm never going to a Redskins game again.
That was the game? That was the one that you said you're never going again? Oh, my goodness.
I think that was the last one I went to. No, wait, there's one I went to with you, Will, against Cleveland. And I think we had one. Yeah, I think that's the last one I went to.
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Craziness. But look, we fought through it. We've been through the dark days. We are here. We got the win in this game, beating Tampa 23-20 at the very end. Jack, give us your reaction. Give us your first reaction to how you feel, man.
So this whole season, I've been playing with house money. Like, it's just, this just blows all expectations that I had away. And I just been, living day to day. I'm so used to losing. I think they're, going in, okay, we're down. We're probably going to lose. But as the season's gone on, like I'm starting to become a believer. Like no matter what, like no matter how far down they are, they'll put together, 2-3 drives. That 9-minute drive against Tampa to keep their offense off the field was just, backbreaking. I'm so used to seeing that happen to us. And then, being able to do that to another team is just, I haven't felt that in a long, long time. So it's good. And I think, a lot of the fans are coming out. I saw a lot of, Redskins/Commanders jerseys in the stands down there in Tampa Bay. Yeah. Like I've heard, I listened to a lot of the fan up here. Grant Paulson was down there talking about how many fans were coming out of the woodwork in Florida. Apparently they have a big presence down there in Florida.
They did. You could hear MVP chanted at times during the game.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to go to work on Monday, and I had trouble falling asleep. Like with the doink to win it. Like I couldn't believe it.
Right.
I think it was up to 12:30 at night, just trying to laying there in bed with my eyes.
Yeah. I kept refreshing social media. I think what you said is right. There's like this feeling of surprise because we're just not used to this. And every game, it seems like they put together, especially in the second half of games, they put together a very long sustained drive that prevents the other team from getting back out there and getting us needed points. But all season, this has just been fun. Obviously the type of fan that I am has changed in the last 5 to 10 years, especially the last 5. And Trisha and I talk about being positive role models for our boys when they watch us when sports are on, and we try and not be so critical of of what's happening and just kind of cheer. So that's great. See that, how this can be enjoyable. And so I'm not on the edge of my seat the whole time for every game. But, there's certain moments that you certain get into. I mean, to react, everyone was going to react in the Chicago game the way, so
how could
everyone
you
would lose your stuff. But I just been sitting back and just enjoying the type of team that they've put together, watching Jaden play and his growth throughout the year and how dynamic he is to the point where when they got the ball with 4 minutes left in the game, I was the most confident I've ever been. I was like, this is what he does. And we only need 3 points.
It's amazing. Yeah, I know. I'm like, here it comes. He's going to put the team on his shoulders and just, get it done. Like there's some crazy stat I was looking at, like the lack of the run game's appalling. Like it's been, I think he had like 238 of like the 278 yards or something like that for the whole offense. Like it was nuts. So yeah, he's killing it, man. He's just got to, as long as he stays healthy, I think it's just, sky's the limit. So
yeah.
It's beautiful to see. It genuinely is when you have a guy like that. And like I was telling Janae yesterday, it's just that feeling that even though you may be down, even though you might be struggling, you talked about the running game not working. It's things just continually seeming to happen at the right time. Obviously, that fumble on the fake jet sweep by Baker, and then Wagner comes and picks it up. And I mean, even in that situation, when Wagner went down for that, like it was each of them had equal opportunity. Wagner went and took it, and it's just that feeling like we won't be denied. Like even after the turnover on fourth, and they get the ball back, and they could have really stolen the momentum. But we really, it's just everybody believes in it. And you can hear it at the end of the game when Wagner talked about JD5. I just love playing with this guy. I just love being around him. It's such a good feeling to have the quarterback there. But then you look at the whole body of work. And then we just got to shout out Peters, Quinn, all those guys, because what they've been able to do is putting us in this position. Yes, getting Jaden, that was great. Mm-hmm. But then also the 30 new players. All the old coaches that are now on our coaching staff. I mean, the team it gives you this sense of we belong here. We're not like 2020 where we're limping in, we're winning 1 out of the last 4 games. This right here is we were built to be here. Even if we don't have the roster we want yet, we're still built to be here. And that's something I am just over the moon about.
Yeah. What I think what's so interesting is when you're watching the game and kind of, I'm able to also sit back and just kind of see how it goes is the adjustments that the coaching staffs make throughout the game. That's what I'm always intrigued and get so impressed by. You hear about during the game. I didn't like the fact that our very first drive, we went for it on 4th down, didn't get it inside the 20 and gave up a chance for 3 points. But then you find out later on that Dan Quinn has said they don't want to give Baker the ball back. Their whole thing is the more that they can have the ball gives them a better chance at scoring. And so they were going to go for it on 4th down every single chance that they got. I was like, okay, you saw a little bit about that. At one point, Marshawn Lattimore was getting torched by Mike Evans. What did they go do? They went to the other game plan that they had, which was to double Evans and put Lattimore on the other side. Yep. So like they're not just having this is how we play, and if it's not working, it's not working. They have other ways to bring it in. I love the fact that every second half, Joe Witt Jr.'s defense goes big. He puts 3 D tackles out there, and Jalen Holmes, number 96, who's a bigger defensive end, he stops the run. Every second half, we do much better against the run. He changes his game plan as well, and that's the type of stuff we haven't seen since Joe Gibbs was the head coach. Joe Gibbs 1.0, and that was what he was so famous for, was coming back with halftime adjustments, and that's exactly what you're seeing out of this coaching staff. And that's just what makes the game so much fun is there's an air of competency that we've never had under Snyder's time.
Feels good. It feels really good. It really does. And look, I mean, we can go to this game all day, but kind of like the players, kind of like anything in this kind of situation. Yes, it was nice. It was great. But unlike the Cowboys, we are in the playoffs still. We are still going on, and it makes you feel great. But let's go into really quickly. Let's talk about this. We are winning, and I like to go back to 2020. We had you on the show, and you said to us, I don't want to make the playoffs. Our draft selection is going to be far lower if we make the playoffs. I don't want this. Now, Will and I were on the stuff. We were just like, playoffs? We could do this. Like, we could go. We're like, no. So let's ask this question. Is this making it more difficult? I mean, at the expense of winning and the joy for us, is it making it more difficult for Adam Peters and them to help rebuild or keep building this team?
Sure. So from a personnel standpoint, I think you're going to attract higher market free agents, which is great. But the thing that I'm most concerned about is Cliff Kingsbury leaving. So I think he's done an outstanding job with Jaden Daniels. Like, I think he, has done a great job with the team. And so at this point, like, I'm more concerned about him leaving for a head coaching position somewhere else. But on the other side of it, he's still getting paid by Arizona. So it's not like he needs the money. But at the same time, you just don't know if his calling is to go out and try to be a head coach again. So I don't know. So that's my biggest concern. But from the free agent list and everything like that, I think Adam Peters, like from the people he's losing next year and everything, or after this season, I'm not too concerned. But that's my biggest concern is just losing the coordinators from a winning team, which I'm not used to saying. So but otherwise, I think we have a lot of positivity to look forward to next year. We have what third most in cap space or something like that, or at least I know it's for sure top 5. So we can with the holes that we have like in our roster right now and how we're playing, like with the way that they're coaching them up, like I think we're going to be even better. So they can revamp the line, add some more depth, add a true number 2 receiver if they really wanted to. You're going to lose Bobby Wagner, which is not a huge loss, but I don't know, it's 33, 34, something like that. I don't know how much longer he's going to play, but
I don't know. He's getting his MBA from Howard, so he's here in town.
At least another 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years.
Let's go. End your career here. Let's go.
Let's do it.
I think you bring up a great point about, so like from a draft perspective, this is going to make things a little bit more challenging, because you're not picking in the top 20 right now. You're not picking. We were expected to pick in the top 10, go at the beginning of the season going into next season. But there's two folds to it. I was just pulling up some of the like notable draft picks in the last 2 years from pick 24 on. And you've got like Graham Barton, the Tampa Bay Bucs center, Xavier Worthy for the Chiefs. They added another weapon at pick 28. The Ravens added their starting corner and Nate Wiggins. The 49ers and Panthers added their wide receivers, Ricky Pearsall and Xavier Leggett. Sorry, that was last year. The Saints and Eagles drafted defensive linemen and pass rushers at the end in 2023, and Brian Breesy and Nolan Smith. So it's not like you're losing out on talent, Brian Thomas Jr. went in the later in the 20s. Jordan Addison went in the 20s. So there is still a chance you may not get who you may have, all the guys that everyone's going to swoon over. But the other part is what you just mentioned is the free agency, and what this is showing is, we heard about it during the trade deadline, where for the very first time ever, agents were saying, I got my players coming to me saying, hey, can you get me to Washington?
They want to come here. Yeah.
And if they're going to, not only do they want to now come to Washington, Adam Peters is not Vinny Serrato, who's going to say, Albert Hainsworth, I'm going to give you the first $100 million contract in NFL history. and Adam Archuleta, I'm going to pay you $10 million a year to be our personal protector. He's going to say, yeah, I'm interested in you, but here's my budget. Just like he did with Frankie Louvu and Dorrance Armstrong, the 2 multi-year starters he brought in for 3 years and 30-some million, about 10 to 11 million a season. So he's still being frugal or practical, I should say, with the contracts that he's given out. So we sit here and say from a draft perspective, we're going to be drafting a lot later than we thought, but that doesn't mean that what are we going to do in free agency with all that cap money if players want to come here?
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. And again, one of the strengths of Adam Peters, I feel, is being able to hit on those later round picks. So I was looking at a diagram of just different wide receivers that have been picked outside of the first round. You got like AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, like all these, or AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, like all like the list goes on of like guys that you can get like in later. Look at Terry McLaurin. Like it's just there's guys that are there, and I've got faith that Peters will do what he did in San Francisco and hit on those later round picks and do what Ron couldn't. So
kind of like getting a starting left tackle in the 3rd round named Brandon Coleman, who barely any of us knew.
Yeah.
Sean, let you go. I know
Ron. Well, Ron, we know Ron didn't even get one of the things that he specialized in. He didn't get a daggone linebacker. It took us all these years to finally, now we got two or three linebackers, guys that we can put in there. But I think to both of your points, we've learned, especially over the last offseason into this last year, to trust their process. I told this to Will, not to steal something from the 76ers in basketball, but just trust the moves that they make. But I think one of the things that's huge, and this is why I piggyback on what you were saying, Jack, that I agree that I am also very concerned about potentially not just losing Cliff, but we have a number of coaches on our team with, obviously Cliff, Anthony Lynn, Ken Norton Jr., guys that have coached other places and have been highly sought after that are here. And if we could keep them with something that I think we need, them being here is part of the reason why the players have come, but you can get players in-house. We got money, so we've done that over the years. But once we get them in-house, what we've seen this year, players are developing. Players are getting better. Look at Chin early in the year. Look at some of the backup running backs early in the year, not really knowing if they're going to get an opportunity. One of the guys got cut, but whenever they have had their opportunity to come in and play, they have produced. Noah Brown, we picked him up. Zacchaeus, Will's guy, look at the things that he's been able to do. And even more, look at the moves they made in getting rid of people. The Jamin Davis, Emmanuel Forbes, Jahan Dotson. I was screaming at them. What are y'all doing? We don't have a number 2.
He got a touchdown. I saw him. He did.
Finally. But just having those coaches, it gives you that confidence. And to both your points, we are now a destination. We are now somewhere that players want to go. And even if we lose a guy like a Bobby Wagner, he's still going to tell people like, hey, you got this kid over here in Jaden, or you got this group of guys over here that really, they want to win. Do yourself a favor and go over there. And that's something we talked about, Will, before the season, or towards the middle part of the season. What constitutes a successful season? Was it the playoffs? Well, yeah, we're in the playoffs, and a lot of people can face value. That's a successful season. But I think the biggest part is people want to be here. People are excited about it. The pundits and all those people, the talking heads, they're not using us as a pun. They're not using us as, well, we know that Kansas City has the best in-house. Washington has the opposite. Now it's one of these situations where it's like, that Washington team, sure, it's good, but that Washington team can shock the world. And I'm here for all of it.
I love it.
Well, and I will say this: two of you now have mentioned Bobby Wagner. I'm going to say this: he's a must re-sign free agent. I will let that man retire in DC because of what he is doing as a on-field coach, and he's still making. I mean, we saw he was right there around the ball when it was fumbled, and he's still making plays. He had over 100 tackles again this year, so I think he's an absolute resign.
Oh, it was after he got trucked by Baker too. Did you see him get trucked by Baker?
He was to the side. He wasn't expecting it.
I know. If he was expecting it, he would have got it.
You got to know that Jaden said something to him when he got to the sidelines.
I love their interaction. I love them always busting each other's. Yeah, It's great, man. Yeah.
You know what kind of is interesting though, and you all can speak on this when it comes to the team getting better, the culture changing, is actually what I'm seeing on their show right now. Jack, you're wearing a Commanders jersey. Shame on you. Sean, you're wearing a Commanders jacket. I've got on a Commanders hat. For the first time at New Orleans, one of the reporters wrote back that this was the first time he saw more Commanders gear than Redskins gear out of fans. And I can say right now, there's not a darn person in DC that doesn't want to have a JD5 jersey or a Terry jersey right now. I mean, I'm looking at it going, I swore I would never buy a Commanders jersey. I would barely buy Commander stuff. If we weren't doing this, Sean, for you, I wouldn't have gotten this hat. But we're starting to get over it. The whole point of they're talking, we're always going to hate the name, but they kind of said winning can change things.
There it is.
And you're starting to see it. I mean, you all got to be telling me I'm hearing that there's Commanders stuff everywhere. There's JD5 jerseys everywhere. Like people are back wearing their stuff in DC because
you can't get the black one anymore. Like the regular JD5 black jerseys sold out. Like at least in the larger sizes. Like you can't even get it now that Fanatics kind of took over. They have like some type of like fashion jersey or something like that, but it's not like the on field jersey. I don't like it. But
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's like right now he's probably the top 3 jersey sales of 2024 2025, I'd say for sure.
Yeah,
so, absolutely.
Yeah,
he's a must-see. He's a
must-see
attraction.
I didn't even tell you guys when I was out in Kansas. One of our friends' sons out there, he plays a lot of Madden. He's like, yeah, dude, Jaden Daniels, dude. I was like, yes. Yes.
Look, that's not Madden. Try playing Madden with Patrick Ramsey and Jason Campbell. All right.
Yeah,
that's hard. All right.
I won Super Bowls with them. That's when I knew this wasn't legit.
That's not real.
Right.
Oh, man.
No, but yeah, to that point, man, it is just winning cures all. I mean, period. Like, and now you know how we look at some of the old Redskins and we say, I don't want to Doug Williams or a Joe Theismann jersey that says Commanders because they weren't Commanders. But in the same way, you're like, JD5 ain't a Redskin. He's not a football team. He is a Commander, and it's just it feels good, and it feels comfortable. I don't know, man. I've been wearing this.
Stop it, Sean. Stop it.
We've talked about this so many times. Like winning fixes everything. So like I think the only way that they don't rebrand and maybe like when they get a new stadium or something like that is if they win the Super Bowl. So if they win the Super Bowl in the next couple of years, it's over. It's going to be Commanders. But if I think there's a chance, like if stadium time is coming up and everything like that, and there's opportunity to rebrand it, I think they'll do it. But yeah, again, winning fixes everything. If they're a perennial NFC championship contender, then I don't know. This might be it. Yeah. Maybe they'll change the jersey colors. I don't know.
Could really see it.
Or the scheme.
You want to know something? So before Christmas, I went on eBay and got Patrick a Clinton Portis jersey. And I gave it to him, and he was all excited. And he put it on, I think, against the Saints game. It might have been maybe the one after that. He was like, so where is he out here? And I said, he's actually retired. He was one of Daddy's favorites. And he got, like, sad. He was like, I want a guy that's playing right now. And I was like, son of a gun. So I went out and got him a Jaden Daniels jersey, and it arrived last week for the playoffs and that type of stuff. But to your point, Jack, Sean, like what you just said about Jaden Daniels is this guy's a Commander, and that is how people are knowing him in these uniforms, in these logos and stuff. And it's like, I just, if it's winning, maybe I'll be for it, but it's still a little hard.
Well, now I did get my authentic Sam Howell Commanders jersey.
You did.
And that one is still
was worth it.
That was definitely worth it.
That was a good buy. That was definitely a good buy.
When else will I ever get a North Carolina quarterback? Not this year. Not
ever. Not ever.
It's not happening. And we are all good. But look, speaking of it, like we're saying, winning cures all. But and as you're talking about these jerseys, Jack being, they're not, can't get them and everything like that. It's because of who we have, Jaden Daniels. He is an attraction. And when we go ahead and we look at real quickly, we want to get you while we have you on here to look ahead real quick at this game. And the ticket is the most expensive ticket in the history of the NFL playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's almost like a G, like it's a super high ticket. What are your thoughts about just the aura around this game, even before we just talk about it?
I just, I didn't think we'd be in the playoffs. I didn't think we'd win a playoff game. I think we can do anything. Like at this point, like I have no idea what the limitations of this team are at this, like the way that things are going. So, I'll keep it going. I'll keep it riding. But I think to beat Detroit, it's going to take either what we did with Tampa, when you completely control the clock even more. Like you gotta have sustained long drives. You got to keep them off the field as much as possible. And if you can't, then you got to stop the run, because I think Jahmyr Gibbs is just going to destroy them. Like as we've had trouble with Saquon and other guys, it kind of fit that mold. So I think those are going to be the big two keys right there. They kind of were able to stop the run, I thought, against Tampa, but again, they were able to control that clock and keep them off the field a lot, so they didn't really give them the opportunity to run the ball. So I think that's it, guys. Like I know they got St. Brown, they got Williams, they got Laporta. Is that right? Yeah. There we go. Yeah. So they're able to run the ball. They're able to pass the ball. They put up 35 plus points like it's nothing. So but I think we can win. I think that games that I think that we're going to lose by a lot, somehow we manage to keep it kind of even, and then keep it to like a 1-2 score game by the fourth quarter, and then we're able to get the ball in the end, and then what we won, like 5-6 games that have come down to like the last possession this year. So I'm just used to sitting there watching it, so I just it doesn't faze me at this point. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to have to do. Just keep on doing what we've been doing. Yeah.
Pretty much. I think the last point you bring up about, we keep winning at the end of games. That has me slightly like, okay, when are we not going to get this opportunity? Because we keep getting the possession at the end, and that's how we win the game. Or our defense stops in the Saints game on a 2-point conversion. They didn't need to run, to win it.
If Kamara was there, we would have lost that game, but it's okay.
Probably, yeah, most likely. So you kind of get a little bit worried about that, but also here I'll say this: like throughout the country, especially this season and what they've built, like Detroit has become, everybody's like, yeah, I'm okay if they win. That's kind of a good story. That's a cool story. Like how many times for Thanksgivings have been where it's not that exciting of a game. And I mean, I was tuned in this year. I mean, I wanted to see them play Caleb Williams. I wanted to see Detroit. We don't get a chance to see them all that often. I was like, I want to see this squad. They're putting up, a ton of points and all that. However, as we talk about, it's a long season, and the last couple weeks have been problematic for Detroit in a spot where we are pretty good, which is through the pass game. In their last 5 games, I believe it is, they're giving up more than 300 yards passing to guys like Brock Purdy, which, hey, if this was last year, no sweat. This was not the San Francisco team, before. They gave up a bunch to Josh Allen. That's okay, it's the Bills. Like, that's going to happen. But Caleb also had a big game against them. They showed that, hey, this guy does have a little bit. So there's a little bit of vulnerability there, especially the fact that the only way we score points these days is from number 5. Whether it's him passing or whether him, taking over and just running for dear life. Yeah. So that you talk about it, Jack, like there is a chance there where if our recipe is a spot where they have some vulnerability. So that's why I think it's going to be interesting to kind of see if we're able to keep that stuff going. And Sean, I'm going to let you talk about your guy and if he's going to step up.
No, and listen, and we know how important kind of this game is, and you know what? It's funny because I was at Ford Field the last time we played, and I was surrounded by that Honolulu Blue and all those Lions fans. And that's when we had Carson Wentz. That's when they jumped out early to the 21-0 lead. Like they were bought. Swift went off on us. Amon-Ra St. Brown went off. And we tried to come back late in that game, but we weren't able to do it. But yeah, to your point, and we got some guests. I want to ask them about this as well. Where, shout out to Amon-Ra, because that's who we're going to have stop. And we've had to play elite receiver almost every week, all the way back to Evans in the first week and Larry Marvin Harrison Jr.'s son and Malik Neighbors, yada, yada, yada. I mean, Jamar Chase, the whole 9. And this is no different. But I think it's funny that when you hear Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the little stories or interviews that came up, was him saying, I look at teams and players that got drafted ahead of me, namely De'Ami Brown. And I'm like, see, I'm better than that guy. I'm just like, yes. Real. You're absolutely right. But you don't know how I feel about De'Ami, my guy coming from North Carolina, who has let me down all the way up until this week. And then shout out to you finally showing up. I'll take it. But I mean, with that, like that, talk to me about that, because it's kind of like they have motivation against us. Can we get amped to play them? That's the thing.
Yeah. Will there be a single punt this game? That's my question.
Come on.
I don't think so.
Pressway is a really good placeholder, like a kick holder. Let's let him do that.
He's on the last year of his $13 million contract.
Listen,
He gone.
Don't do that. Don't do that to us.
MVP. That's what they really called for. They
Right.
knew Tress was on the sideline, so they were saying MVP.
Right.
No, in all seriousness, no. They need to hit on those fourth downs. Like in this game, I'm sure they're going to be going for it. So if they can hit the majority of them like they did last week, I don't see a problem with it. But one stat I saw is that Jaden had a perfect QBR on third and fourth down passing downs in the last game. It's like 138 or something like that. He was like 9 for 10 with like a touchdown. It's if he plays like that, like it's.
How do you have a perfect rating if you go 9 for 10?
I don't know. That's a good question, Will. Ask the internet. Yeah.
But Sean, what you were saying, I really hope. Like last week, Diami came out of nowhere and became our number 2. And if you remember, about 5-6 weeks ago, Terry said, "Hey, this is the opportunity for guys to step up. Diami's shown us that he can do some things." And we were like, "Oh, okay, we heard this before." And all of a sudden, in the biggest game of his career, when we needed it, he did. And you almost kind of hope if the Commanders are smart, they are at practice every single day this week. They're going up to Diami and showing that clip in his face to say, this guy's calling you guys out. Are you going to do something here? Just to see, because we are going to need. I would imagine, especially with Detroit plays a lot of man defense. They're going to do what Philly did to us in that first game and blanket Terry. So somebody,
out of the game.
It's going to have to be if it's not Diami, is it OZ? Is it going to be, Zach? Or somebody is going to have to step up to bail out Jaden because he can't run from his life against some of their defensive ends.
Sure.
Yeah, and can we stop calling running back QB powers and QB
and counters?
On the edge?
Yes.
Yeah, can we not do that, please? Good God. What were you saying, Jack?
You guys confused me by bringing up the QB powers. So wait.
Look,
who's even starting at corner for Detroit at this point? Like they're their third or fourth depth at this. I don't even know. I know they lost their other starting cornerback I think a couple weeks ago. So at this point, yeah. I don't even know where the depth's at for that, but you should ask those Detroit guys when you're.
They're going to have to teach us this. But Kirby Joseph's leading the league in interceptions, so it sounds like, and Brian Branch is right behind him. So the guy who Washington said they were going to draft, and then we decided to get Emmanuel Forbes instead. So I don't know why we lied to him, but they seem to within their scheme, their safeties are the ones who kind of make those plays. But yeah, it's gonna. Like you said, Jack, if we can do time of possession, if we can play the type of game we're going, and I think we really have to go through our passing game to set up anything. It's not out of the possibilities.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible, and with this team, anything is possible.
Yeah, I'm not feeling great about it, but anything is possible. And to your point, Will, it's not going to be a Terry, it's not going to be a Diami, it's going to be a collective. It's going to be it's not. He hasn't done anything. He's done one thing. He had 2 games in his career. One was against the Titans back when we lost that game with Carson Wentz. He had 2 big
75-yard touchdown. Yeah,
that's it. He hasn't done anything, even when he had Sam Howell. I'm not talking about Diami anymore. All right, look, Jack, we appreciate you, our guy. We are so glad you were here with us when we were sad, and now you're here with us again. We are flying high, baby.
I just don't want it to stop. Please, please, Jaden, stay healthy. Don't get hurt. I think that's the only thing that could really make me cry. But some of the hits he takes, guys, I sit there and I hold my breath, and I just really wish these, would just slide a little bit more often, just a little bit more. But
like when he got destroyed on the sidelines.
Yeah. I'm a little bit worried about that. Or he got his knee buckled from the side a little bit on that low blow, and then
you see that?
Man, and then it's stuff like that just makes me hold my breath. But so far so good. We're getting the puck luck this year, and we'll see what's up.
Mhm.
I wish we could establish the run early. We
Yeah,
can't run the ball.
Yeah, I don't know, Nathan. I mean, the Bucs defense was top 5 against the run. The Lions aren't top 5, but they are better at stopping the run. And I don't know. I don't know if it's the scheme. I don't know if B-Rob's hurt, but like our running ability is gone.
I've heard it's a combination of B-Rob being hurt and like in the interior line just being kind of beat up as well. So like I just don't know if it's going to be any better for the rest of the season. We'll see.
Yeah. That's why I think you have to establish it through the pass essentially.
Yeah.
And use Austin Eckler a lot, which will make Sean extremely happy.
Hey, he's a good change of pace back. I agree. B-Rob was pretty ineffective last week, so yeah. Eckler had that 8-yard run, I think, to open up that 9-yard or that 9-minute drive, and then from there he just kind of set the tone. But I think that was the longest run of the game, at least for the running backs. So.
Yes,
yeah. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Jack.
I'll be sitting here, and there's a Saturday night game this time, which I am pumped about. So
that's right. We're excited to see it, man. Hey, appreciate you joining us, man. So glad you were able to get on here, man.
I think it might be close to our time, guys. Have a good one.
Hail to the Skins.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, go Commanders.
Yeah.
I had to think about one.
Yeah.
See you, buddy.
Yeah, buddy, man. Yo, shout out to our guy, Jack Niedermeyer, who was here with us when we were bad, and he's still here with us now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick break, and on the other side, we have some guests from the Motor City, the Detroit Lions across the sidelines. We're going to talk to bleachers and speakers. You're going to want to see this, ladies and gentlemen. We got to talk about this game. But before we do that, got to shout out our guy, Anton Benton, Awesome Artisans. Be right back. Yeah, buddy, that was our guy, Anton Benton, creator of Awesome Artisans, lives in the Virginia Beach area, but will travel. Just got back from Baltimore. I know he's gone down to South Carolina in certain areas. He's gone all the way as far as Denver, Colorado, and Seattle, Washington. He will travel. He does great work. Definitely reach out to him if you need something done. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, we are in an unfamiliar spot. We are in the divisional round of the playoffs. Yes, the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. We're excited to be here, but we are more excited, and I'm going to send this to you, Will. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and we now have a connection with more fans and more people that do kind of the same thing we do. Will, talk to us about the collaboration we're starting.
Absolutely. This was kind of what we were thrilled about by joining Fan First Sport Network, is when you get opportunities to play teams that we're not as familiar about. There are other folks out there that are just as passionate about their team as we are about the Commanders, that can teach us a little bit about who they are and kind of what they see what they see about us that they're worried about or not worried about. And we get an opportunity to just kind of chop it up a little bit. So super excited for this. If you are not following Fan First Sports Network on Twitter X, you should, along with obviously following us on Wash FB Weekly, and subscribing and liking on Apple and Spotify.
Absolutely. So without further ado, we got to look across the sidelines with bleachers to speakers. Shout out to Jay and Jude. What's up, guys?
That's B. Foster in June, but it's
apologize.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Nah, you good. You good,
brother. We're gonna get you together.
All right, I appreciate that. So, what's up, gentlemen?
How are you guys doing?
Dude, we're ecstatic. We are ecstatic. We're not in the playoffs. We're not like this. This is new territory for us.
Y'all sound like us. You sound like y'all not even used to being there. So
We're not,
No.
this is until last year. This has been pretty unfamiliar territory. So we're
Yeah,
just as ecstatic as you guys are. So
right.
And look, we got to throw back to, for those of you that don't know, the last time these two teams faced off, 1991. Unfortunately for our partners, it wasn't as great of a day. We were just out of this world. Washington ended up going to the Super Bowl, but the year that you guys had that year was just, I mean, amazing with what Barry did. I think Eric Kramer was your quarterback at that time. Bush was in the White House, the first Bush. I mean, so much was different at that time. But talk about this year. You get back to the playoffs last year. Now you're here, and you are the best team in the NFC, in our opinion, by far. What are your how y'all feeling?
well, first off, that team in '92, that was a Mark Rippon team. I remember watching that first game versus Dallas on Monday Night Football, and Dallas was the reigning champ, and they came in there, and Washington kicked their butts. I knew they were going to be good all season. So I remember that game like yesterday. I was in the Army when I was watching all this stuff. So that was a very, very good team. Of course we paid attention to the show backstage for a long time. Even before I got backstage, I listened to the show and I heard a couple of things, man. We got to talk. We definitely got to talk, man. We got to talk. Don't be misled by this past defense that you've seen in. If you look at the entire season as a whole, the passing defense has been pretty good.
Right.
We've had some injuries here and there. Our starting core first. Well, no, Terrion Arnold is a starter, but he's a rookie. But the other side is Amik Robinson. He was originally our nickel, and we lost Carlton Davis Jr. And he was our starter. So he was having a pretty good year until that happened. So I mean, we could sit up here and whine about injuries, like because if you look at our
it'd be legit.
Yeah, it's like we have all pros that I've not seen the field. Lee McNeil and Hutch. And it's our other we acquired Marcus Davenport as our other defensive end from Minnesota, and I think he played 2 games and he's out. We missed 8 weeks without Anzalone, our best cover linebacker. It's been a road.
And that's what I think is so impressive about this place. One of our buddies said you guys are the definition of no excuses. I mean, at one point I know it was 22 players were out or IR or something like that, and you guys have still won. Next man up is y'all's thing. Like, so talk to us, like, how healthy? Let's be honest. You're talking about some of the guys that are back, but how healthy are you all coming into this game?
We're a lot healthier than we have been in the past 5 or 6 weeks. I will say that. There's still some key positions out, but the key positions that we've been out for a long time. So there won't be any excuses, especially for me, about injuries, no matter what happens. Because Hutch has been out since game 5. And that was our best defensive player. We've been rotating cornerbacks in. Carlton Davis Jr., he was our best cover corner, but he's been in and out. And then till his untimely out for the season with a broken jaw. I mean, we've just been scrambling, and we've had this next man up mentality. And we've been, for a while, we were pulling people off the practice squads, and they were coming in and contributing. And it's hats off to the coaching, because they've been playing inspiring type of football. So.
And just to piggyback off of the injuries and who we have coming back, David Montgomery, who's our 1A running back, who's had a great year. He's is more than likely going to be back this week. Terrion Arnold had a bit of a foot injury in the Minnesota Vikings game, and he appears to be in good condition as well. And then we have Ennis Rackstraw, who has been in and out of the lineup all year with a nagging hamstring injury. he should be back in action as well. So those are like the notable guys that will be returning. Obviously, Arnold hasn't missed any games with injury, but as you guys talked about, we are, pretty light in the cornerback area. So it's very essential that he's available for us with Carlton Davis out for the year with that broken jaw.
Yeah. I mean, look, you talk about your secondary here and kind of looking at just like the depth chart just to kind of see and how many guys are no longer being listed. There's not a whole lot of backups behind them being listed there. So, they can't go down on Saturday.
No.
So, talk to me about how you guys are feeling. Everything's going viral in DC about, I think it was a radio show, and what he said, how we're like, listen, y'all may have had a good game. You got a good quarterback. We are 60 minutes away from the NFC Championship. I'm sure you're familiar with that. With that, that's kind of gone viral. But how are you all feeling with this season? Do you feel like this is our year?
Well, at the beginning of the season, more than I want to say near the end of the season last year, we were thinking. Well, at the end of the season, we were like, it's either NFC Championship or bust, or it's a bad season, right? Because we got to the NFC Championship last year. We were 1/2 away from the Super Bowl. And for me and Foster, I think I could speak for Foster on this. If we don't get to the NFC Championship, at least it would be a failure in our eyes of a season. Now, the pulse within the city and within the fan base is they actually believe that this is the season for the Lions. Like, there's been a buzz since 2 years ago when they fell short of the playoffs. The Lions had went 8-2 to finish the season, but fell short of the playoffs. And then they come in last year, they win the division and are 1/2 away from the Super Bowl. But there's an aura in the city and the fan base that this is going to be it. This is ours. Home field advantage, the best regular season in the history of Detroit Lions. Of course, they never had 17 games, but to be 15-2, which me and Foster said 12-5 was our ceiling for me and Foster, but 15-2, and you put all of that in with the injuries and all that other stuff, and it's like, it feels like this is the year. But me and Foster have been doing this long enough, have been fans long enough to brace ourselves and not get too. It's one game at a time for me and Foster.
Yeah.
Medium. Yeah.
In Washington, we say we're cautiously optimistic.
I mean, there's
we know what's around that next door.
We're not arrogant. We're not crazy now. We still have to win on Saturday. So there was somebody that brought up, well, if you got Philly at home, I'm like, wait, one game at a time.
Yeah.
Let's get past the Redskins first, because it's a pretty talented team over there. You guys aren't 9-8 and
right
into the playoffs. You guys are 12-5 with a hell of a quarterback, with a mobile quarterback, which I don't like to face.
Right. Nobody does. Do you also feel, though, a little bit of urgency because of the fact that are you going to have your great coordinators next year? Is it kind of like, we got to get it this year because we're about to lose? We very well may lose both of them this offseason.
It's been like that for the past couple of years. Like, we didn't expect Ben Johnson to be back here this year.
Because he wouldn't talk to us.
Well, yeah.
Good. Yeah.
But we all know the sacrifice with having good coordinators is they get opportunities at the end of the year. So you're not going to keep a good coordinator for very long. And because most coordinators have ambitions to be head coaches and they get offers. But I think what we have in place here, and this is what I wholeheartedly believe, that we have finally, after all these years, we got the right head coach for the job. So we figure everything else is complementary. I think he's going to be able to pick an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. Now, it may take some time to get back to it, but I think we're on the right path because of our head coach. And I think whoever he finds to be the next defensive coordinator or the next offensive coordinator, or both, I think what they will, hopefully they'll embrace what he's brought to the table and be complimentary, and we'll be still in playoff races and stuff like that. So we know what's at stake as far as possibility of losing our offensive and defensive coordinator, because if you lose both, what's the possibility of you being back where you were the season before? It's like that the probability is down the drain.
Right.
So we feel like now, me personally, I feel like yes, you have to win now, but I'm also confident that if you don't win, you still have Dan Campbell. You still have a roster that believes in him, and Detroit is becoming a destination place for free agents. So I still believe in this team no matter what. You can take out the offensive coordinator, and we may not be right back where we want to be, but eventually we'll get there. So it's been a turn of events as far as the culture around here, and we actually believe in Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And look, I'm going to stay there right quick because I think that's huge. That's something that we on the outside looking at in Washington, we always say we're following the coattails of Detroit. What you guys have done, putting the right guys in office, getting the right coaches, getting the right management and all that, and how you guys are building up. That's kind of how we want to build. But even back to what you're saying about Dan Campbell, I mean, what amazes me about him is we know you guys, your starters are studs. We know, Amon-Ra and the Montgomerys and Goff playing well and all these guys, the O-line, all that. But like you were saying, when the backups came in, when the practice squad came in, everybody knows there's an expectation and everybody rises up to the challenge. Mm-hmm. And that to me is something that's amazing. Dan Campbell, I'm not going to lie, when he first came in with the biting of the kneecaps,
I didn't like it.
I didn't either.
I was like, what are we doing right now? So, I mean, what he's right, but what he's done though is nothing short of remarkable, man. So, I mean, having that kind of a leader in house, I mean, it's kind of how we feel with Jaden, where it's kind of like, I got that guy, so I don't care who you got. Like, there's a confidence, man. Do you guys feel that like week in and week out?
Oh yeah. Like I said, it's a feeling of confidence around here like I've never seen before. It's crazy, and I got a crazy Dion Brown story. Is that his name? The wide receiver, Dion.
Oh, you can call him Dion because he's been playing like Dion. He ain't catching nothing. All right?
I'm sorry if no disrespect, but Foster can attest to this. A lot of the draft picks that the Lions have picked over the years, I disagreed with. Mr. Brown, De'Ami Brown, or whatever his name is the wide receiver I thought the Lions should have picked.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
I that's who I wanted. There was another wide receiver who I felt was better. I didn't want St. Brown here. I was like, he's a slot receiver. He runs a 4.5 40. I don't want this guy. We need a burner on the outside. And boy, I couldn't be more wrong.
I'd say you made the right choice. All right.
We celebrated the Diami pick, not just because Sean's a huge Tar Heel fan, but just like you said, everything you were reading, it was like he should never have slipped to the third round. And we're like, we've got to steal the draft. Not even close.
What was
he scored this game, right? Last game?
The first time in months. All right.
Yeah.
What was the other wide receiver for Carolina? His name was Dallas something.
Oh, Daz Newsome.
Daz Newsome, yes.
He went to
the same year? Was he the same year? That's who I thought the Lions should have drafted at that time instead of St. Brown.
See, this is why June doesn't draft. Like, who?
Exactly why I'm here.
Wait. I'll tell you who he is. North Carolina's finest, all right? Daz Newsome, De'Ami Brown, Michael Carter, and Javonte Williams. All four of them were 1,000-yard either running backs or wide receivers that came out that year, followed by Sam Howell.
We
drafted, I'm from North Carolina. That's my guys.
Okay, we drafted what? Antoine Green or what's his name? Didn't he?
Antoine Green.
Yes.
Yeah, we drafted. We cut him too, right?
Yeah, he
didn't. Yeah. We don't talk about that. But Foster. So talk to us. Oh yeah, go ahead, Will.
No, you go, Sean. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Foster, just piggyback on like talk to us about the Diame thing, because that's something that that is close to my heart. Diame is somebody that I followed. I followed him and Sam Howell all throughout North Carolina, and when we got him, I mean, I'm the reason why Will was excited about him, because I'm just telling him, oh, this guy's great. He's great. He's ACC great, and we saw that. But that's behind the point. Your wide receiver, your guy that you guys did get,
right,
had an interview, and I mentioned it earlier, where he said, hey, I look at guys that got drafted in front of me, and namely that guy, Diame Brown. He got picked, and I got that chip on my shoulder. Have you seen that? Is he playing with that chip on his shoulder still?
Oh yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown is the consummate professional. He's the guy that you can depend on to make that catch when it matters the most. He's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, but when it's time to get that big catch on third down or that touchdown when you need it, he has been there for us. And the fact that he was drafted, after 14, whatever amount of receivers, a ridiculous amount of receivers that went ahead of him.
He has him tatted on his arm, the people that was drafted above.
No, not quite. It's not that, right?
Maybe it's the numbers.
Yeah.
He can definitely rattle the names off to you, from beginning to end. But that's something that he'll always carry with him, no matter what. And I can't be more thankful that he fell to us after, all those other receivers went.
His numbers are ridiculous. 115 catches. Like, we thought we did a good job with Terry this year.
Oh yeah, and you did.
We did, but then you still look over here. It's like, more importantly, Sean was going to love this. 141 targets for him. That every game, Sean's like, throw the ball, Terry. Give him 10 targets a game. Just do it. So,
Terry drops
every once in a while. Talking about this game here, from the Lions' perspective, what are some things that you see where you're like, this is what we can do to win? Because we always do it against teams and no one can stop us. You kind of talked about Amon-Ra. Or is there certain things you're like, I know Washington can't do this, so this is how we should be attacking them?
I mean, there's two main things that I look at that we absolutely have to do coming into this game. And one is establish the run. Obviously, we get David Montgomery back, so he is going to he's the bruiser, power back. And then of course we got Jahmyr Gibbs as the speedy dual threat guy. But I think that establishing the run early on is gonna do a lot for us. It's gonna control the time of possession, as you guys kind of talked about. It's gonna loosen up that secondary a little bit. It's gonna force you guys to bring more guys to the box, and it's also gonna slow down that pass rush. I mean, you guys got Dante Fowler and Frankie Louvu, two guys that get after the quarterback. And that's something that we've, had issues with at times, is protecting Jared Goff, especially because he's not very elusive. He, when he feels the least bit of pressure, sometimes he tends to kind of, crumble under the collapsed pocket. So that's number one, is establishing the run. But secondly, just containing Jaden Daniels in the pocket, not allowing him to get outside and create opportunities. I mean, he's the second leading rusher as far as QBs are concerned. And we have been susceptible to running quarterbacks all year, most notably as of recently, Josh Allen.
Don't bring his name up.
I know.
Crushed
but
you all.
It's so imperative that that we slow him down, because that's been our Achilles heel when we've been faced with it. So those are the two biggest things. I mean, I think that Cliff Kingsbury definitely tries to make things simplistic with his air raid philosophy of spreading the defense out, using those bubble screens and moving the ball down the field. But I think that if we can execute on third down and in the red zone like we did against the Minnesota Vikings, I think that once the crowd gets involved, we may be able to rattle Jaden Daniels. Although he looks like a wily vet out there. He's a rookie, but He doesn't make a lot of mistakes out there. So he did a great job last week. This guy's the first rookie quarterback to win a road game in a really long time. He had no interceptions, no punts, I don't think, in that game as well. So pretty seamless game from him. So I was impressed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got a buddy. His name is Pay. He's a Chicago Bear fan. We have a weekly show with him on Wednesdays, and I said Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback than Caleb in the offseason, and I thought Bears should have drafted Jaden Daniels first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know 1 year is a small sample size, but I'm looking pretty good with that prediction right there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. now look, I gotta say this because 2 years ago, I alluded to it earlier. 2 years ago, I went to Ford Field. And let me tell you something. When y'all get up on a team, I couldn't hear myself think. Now,
it gets crazy.
I will also say this, and I need to let me know if this is still the way it is. Now, that was obviously 2 years ago, so I think you missed the playoffs that year.
Yeah.
And you guys went up, but then in the second half we came back. And I had a Lions guy right next to me, and he was hooting and just throwing the towel and everything. And that second half, he was just back in his seat. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what he said. He said, we expect it. This is coming.
We eliminated.
We deal with that right now with other fans. Like the slightest thing goes wrong, and it's here we go again. And after that Buffalo game, the stuff that I heard after that, it was oh my God, it's the second loss of the season. Relax. Right. So yeah, it's still like that. You still got fans that are they're optimistic, but a little bit of adversity, and it's like, oh no. So that's the way it is. I mean, it's no overconfidence here.
It's trauma. What it is trauma. Yeah, you got a lot of years of being let down and this is back when our team didn't have the expectations. So now it's like, oh, here we go. We go. Yeah. But you learn to tune that out though, because that'll have you ready to crash out some of the things that you hear sometimes.
So look, I dated a girl for 10 years that was from East Lansing, went to Michigan State.
Sorry, I got a bone to pick with Magic Johnson, but that's a whole nother thing.
Let's go, Magic. Let's go.
Sorry to hear about that Michigan State stuff.
Right. Oh my goodness. Oh, let me. She won't like that. But look, I say this to say, she would keep. We would go to grocery shopping. There was times that she would get paper, and I remember when I was like, we always get plastic. She pulled it out one weekend. Like you guys were up, and then all of a sudden you lose, and then
the brown paper bag.
The brown paper bag.
Crazy.
I said, y'all can do it. What happened? She said when Matt Stafford got traded, she said, we got another show called Let's Talk Football. She came on there and she said, mark my words, next year Matt Stafford's going to win the Super Bowl because he's away from the Lions curse. And I was like, what? Are you serious? And she was right.
She's from Michigan. Right. She's smart.
Oh yeah.
I tell you what.
She probably state educated. That's probably why.
Detroit went 1-1 their first two games, right? And the offense wasn't humming. And I heard get rid of Goff chants. Mind you, he passed for 4,000 yards for the first two consecutive seasons in a row. And this season, there were people that I know that were saying, and on my timeline on Facebook, get rid of Goff. That's crazy. That's how it is.
Yeah.
It is. You're right. Oh man. Will, you got anything before we go into the keys?
I think we go to keys.
Let's do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on this show, we do a little something where we pull out our keys and give a little keys to victory, where we try to take a look. We each do two keys. We do one go around and then do another one go around, and we give the key to what we think is going to allow our team to get the dub. June, I'm going to start with you first, man. What is your first key to victory?
Win the turnover battle.
Yep.
Can't turn the ball over, and we got to force some.
I like that. Foster, what you got, man?
I think that matchup with Terry McLaurin, with Terrion Arnold is going to be an essential matchup. You got a guy, who, like we talked about, Carlton Davis is our number one corner, but Terrion Arnold has shown us some things. He's obviously a rookie, but he completely shut down Jordan Addison in that Minnesota Vikings game, held him to 1 reception for 0 yards. I think that they're definitely going to target McLaurin as much as they can. I think he made a Pro Bowl this year. So with the fact that the Washington is going to look to establish the pass first to set up the run, they're definitely going to be throwing in that direction quite a bit.
I like that. Will, what you think, man?
That's exactly what I was going to say, is we have to start with the pass, and we can't do what we did against the Bucs. And what we've been doing is we on 2nd and short, we run it straight up the gut, right into the nose tackle, who's pushed back our center and offensive guards, or we run or counter with the quarterback. Like, let's stick with the pass. The run can be sprinkled in because we are who we are at this point. Go through the pass because that's the only way. That's our best way of moving the ball down the field.
Oh yeah. My first one is our pass rush. Foster, you alluded to it that Jared Goff is not the most mobile quarterback. I've seen him pick apart defenses. We know what he did with the Rams, and he has been amazing with you guys. But for us, we got to collapse that pocket, rush, get in his face, and try to get him to, throw ill-advised passes or deflected passes or something like that, to then, to your point, Jude, got to get turnovers for us. So we definitely want to go at him. Mr. June, what is your second key to victory?
Establish the run. We have to run the ball well, early and often. We just have to. If we can run the ball, we'll do great things. So we're able. One of the best things, one of the most underrated things that happen is Montgomery to go down and the feature Gibbs as the back, to be the feature back, and he's done marvelous things since he's been the guy back there. So we established the run, get Gibbs going early. We can make things happen.
I like that. All right, Foster, what you got, man?
Execute on 3rd down in the red zone defensively. That's one thing that we did really well against the Minnesota Vikings is we didn't allow them. We got them off the field on 3rd down. We don't need to see any more of Jaden Daniels than we're going to have to see, and hold them to field goals in the red zone. We held the Vikings to 9 points, and we were, as far as the whole defense has been beat up. So if we can limit how much they're on the field, it's gonna be a major factor in the game.
Absolutely. What you think, Will?
Yeah. Well, it's going to have to be hold them on 3rd and 4th down, because I guarantee you Dan Quinn's probably going to go for it every single time like he does.
So as I always say, Dan Campbell is, Dan Quinn is Dan Campbell. Like when you ask Mom, can I get McDonald's? You say, we got McDonald's at home. That's Quinn.
Yeah.
Yep.
McDonald's at home.
Yep.
We got it out right.
So we keep saying the same things, and I'm with you. We have to hold you all to field goals. If we are going to stay in this game, we cannot be giving up touchdowns. I have a feeling that Ben Johnson is going to have a much better killer instinct than Liam Cohen did. Tampa Bay was shredding us with Mike Evans, and he stopped going to him. He stopped throwing the ball just every single time to him for some reason, and we were able to slow down Bucky Irving to where we kind of controlled their offense a little bit. I feel like if it's the pass game with Amon-Ra, if it's the run game between Montgomery or Gibbs, Ben Johnson's just going to keep hammering with us. And so I don't know if we're going to get as lucky with that on defense. So we have to hold you guys to field goals, because if we are trading touchdowns, I think we are not going to be able to keep up.
No. And at the end of the day, we need our adjustments. We got to make adjustments, because you guys are going to hit us in the mouth, and I think we're going to fall behind. It's going to be one of those things where we are going to have to figure it out. Like Will said, when Evans was killing us, we kind of switched it up with Lattimore and kind of doubled Evans, did that. We're going to have to try to take Amon-Ra out. We're going to have to try to, eliminate those running backs coming out the backfield and catching little dump passes that go from 5-yard passes to 20, 30 yarders. Adjustments are going to be huge in this game for Washington and playing 4 quarters. Going to play a full 60 minutes of football. And that's the only way we're going to be able to run with you guys. Really quickly, before we let you guys go, let's put it out there. The score predictions for this game. Washington going to Detroit. June, what you think the score is going to be?
I got the Lions winning 31-17.
Ooh, I like that. Okay. B. Foster, what you got, man?
So we talked about this earlier, and I really like that score, but I guess I add an extra 3 on there. 34. Well, 34-20. I'm going to say that.
Okay.
They're pretty confident, Sean.
Right? I see that. Will, what you got, man? What you got, my guy?
So I've been going kind of back and forth a little bit on there. Right now, my score is 26-23. So I obviously have a much closer game. And I was leaning a certain way, but I mean, listen, we've had a great season. We've had a ton of fun. If this was how we go out, we go out. I'm going Redskins, 26-23. Jaden's going to do it again. Give the ball, final 4 minutes, he's going to do what he's been doing. Drive down, field goal by Mr. OCD, Zane Gonzalez. We're going to Philly.
And then we will have 911 on call because our heart will be going. Look, yes, it is just icing on the cake that we are here. Obviously, it's been so long, 18, 19 years since we won a playoff game and we got to this spot. So we're just excited about it. But look, I don't know. We're probably going to have a good future with Jade and everything if we stay healthy and everything. So we might be here again. But I gotta go for my guys. I think this is going to be a sloppy game. I think some of the injuries for y'all and, us just kind of needling and both teams kind of bumping heads. I think turnovers could play a factor. Washington 24, Detroit 23. We shocked the world, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And I can go to my ex and be like, look at me now.
Oh, no.
I had a reason. I had a method to my madness. Right? Yo, we are so appreciative that you guys were able to come on here and join us. Yo, tell us, man, where can we find you? What shows do you guys do? Like, what's going on with you guys?
You can find us on Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. Subscribe to that channel on YouTube. That's where we do our Bleachers to Speakers show on the Detroit Lions. We also cover Detroit Pistons basketball. That's post-game podcast. You can find that on Bleachers to Speakers as well. Foster and Coach covers Detroit Tigers baseball. And just follow us on the audio aggregators under post-game podcast and Bleachers to Speakers. Just follow us. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Download those episodes if you're listening to the audio on those platforms there.
Love that. Love that. Hey, we see these comments. They going wild, baby. They are going wild.
That's my dog. Those are my dogs in the comments, man.
An Eagle fan. His name is Coach. His name is Coach, and he's an Eagle fan. He does the Tiger show with Foster. He's an Eagles fan. I
hate that.
That's all you got to say.
Right.
I understand everything.
Exactly. Oh man, yeah. You guys, hey, look, Eagles fans, y'all need to come on now. We saw your boy just got banned from the daggone stadium for what he was saying to that lady. So come on, Billy.
Yeah, I don't know what's that about.
What happened?
Oh, you didn't hear that? Okay, so in the Packers game,
pay attention, Coach.
In the Packers Philly in the wild card game,
okay.
Apparently there were these two Packers fans. Is a guy and his fiance, and they were just in there, just rooting for their team, and there was banter. They were around all Eagles fans, but apparently this one guy just took it just too far. And in the second half, he starts calling the girl out and says, "You dumb, ugly C, and you this and that," and just going at her. And so the guy starts recording. Yeah, like he starts recording, like, dude, it's not even that serious. Like, we're watching the game, nobody else is doing this, and he just continues to berate the two of them so much that they were just like, man, she was just trying to be cool, and the guy was sitting here like, I'm not trying to start something because you're in a circle of Eagles fans,
right?
But the guy he just pointed them out and just kept going at him. Dude got banned. They reported the video. Some of the other Eagles fan even commented on it, and dude got banned. He cannot go to any other
He lost his job.
sporting event.
Lost his job.
Wow.
Oh, Coach, this is bad, Coach. Oh, Coach, we got to talk about
Philly
it.
fans are bad.
Eagles fans being Eagles fans.
Yeah, that's par for the course, I think. But I don't know.
That's what they do. That's why I will never go to the link. Never.
Never.
But look, they still bold when they come to DC. They still talk. They are not quiet.
They cut different. I don't know.
Yeah. That's it.
It's because I say this to my Eagles fans. I said, you're the forgotten city. That's why up and down the East Coast, people talk about Boston and New York all the time with sports. DC's got the government, so it's more powerful. Nobody ever talks about Philly, and so they are pissed off about it.
Chip on that.
And we'll see what he says here after I just said that.
Nobody cares about the Liberty Bell.
Exactly.
Right? Rockies from the 70s.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go, baby.
That's good.
But look, guys, we got to let you guys go. Definitely tune in to what they got going on, and definitely tune in also to us on Washington Football Weekly. We will be here Wednesday nights, but the game is Saturday night, prime time, great spot. Jared Goff versus JD5, Detroit versus Washington. I'm excited, gentlemen. I'm very excited. Let's get it. All right, guys, we're going to let you guys go. Appreciate you guys hopping in here, man.
Thank you all so much.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Will, another great one, my friend. Getting ready for this game. Washington vs. Detroit. Hey, I'm here for it. Even if this is the last, and this won't be the last show of the season, because we always go and do the off season and talk about that stuff. And Washington, that's our favorite time of the year. But for once in January, we're talking playoff football, baby.
It's new, but it's awesome.
That's right. Oh, man. Hey, look, ladies and gentlemen, all of you guys in the comments, we appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. This being Washington Football Weekly. Will, where can they check us out and find our other exclusive content?
Oh, yeah. Like and subscribe on Apple and Spotify to Washington Football Weekly. Sean puts out something every Thursday and Friday. You can only get there. It's special stuff, Throwback Thursday, talking about players that used to be with Washington or came to Washington and maybe didn't go so well, like Donovan McNabb a couple weeks ago. And then I'll probably get the injury report out. I'll try to just to kind of see how things are going. We got to be watching Bobby Wagner. He hasn't practiced for 2 straight days now. So that's what I got my eyes on to see how that ankle injury going there. But yeah, follow us on Apple and Spotify. And if you're on Twitter X and you follow us on Wash FB Weekly, I will link all that to you to help you out.
Absolutely. And this episode will be up there tonight. So definitely take a minute and listen into this. Well, look, this has been fun. This has been great talking playoff football. We want to shout out our guy, Jack Niedermeyer, for coming in here and talking about the Tampa game and kind of leading us into this Detroit talk. And then we want to talk about B. Foster in June. Sorry about that. Well, Bleachers, 2 speakers, talking Detroit with us, talking football with us. It was a great time. Check out all the good stuff that they do. And, we'll see y'all next time. See y'all next time. Oh, man.
You know what we got to do.
You know what we got to do.
Play that song.
Left hand up, baby. Yes, sir.
Gibbs, you got a good chance. Let me tell you something about some good fans. Back in the day, RFK was our palace. If you don't know, you need to ask about us. Think we're gonna lose? Well, I can't believe you doubters had the whole crowd screaming out. We want Tyler. Those haters can't stand us. Left